The past 48 hours have shown the deterrence attacks against the Houthis aren't working. That's the Iranian-backed group in Yemen. U.S. Central Command says U.S. warships have successfully stopped up to 17 attacks by the Houthis in the past 2 days. And despite U.S. attacks on Houthi positions in Yemen, they're firing off everything they've got: anti-ship ballistic missiles, surface-to-air missiles, dozens of drones. And for the first time, it appears the Houthis have struck a British tanker and might actually sink it. Sabrina Singh is here, Deputy Press Secretary for the DoD. Sabrina, it is nice to see you as always. What has to happen for the Houthis to stop firing on U.S. ships?
Well, thanks so much for having me. Look, I can't predict what the Houthis are going to do. What we are going to do is we are going to continue to take action. We're going to continue to hold them accountable. Every single time that they launch or attempt to launch a surface-to-air missile, we are able to either preemptively strike or able to intercept as it launches. Look, some of the attacks do get through. As you mentioned, one of the surface-to-air missiles did hit a UK flag ship. That ship is continuing to take water, but for a majority of the time, these Houthi attacks are unsuccessful, and crew have sustained minor injuries and minor damage.
What you just described is a tactical situation, right? We're going to keep responding intel. I guess the question would be, is there a discussion of changing the strategy in that we go on the offensive against the Houthis rather than remain, as you pointed out, on the defensive?
Well, we actually have gone on the offensive. We've conducted coalition strikes with partners from other nations around the world, striking Houthi targets, and really done considerable damage to some of their launchers, some of the facilities where they store these weapons and these systems that they're using to launch at whether it's U.S. vessels or innocent commercial mariners that are transiting the Red Sea. Right. So you have seen us take these proactive steps. You've also seen us take dynamic strikes. That's something that I alluded to earlier. When we see some of these missiles getting ready to launch on rails, we immediately strike.
So far, it looks like we've spent about $400 million in the surface-to-air missiles that are launched by the United States to intercept the Houthi drones. Some of these Houthi drones are $10,000 to $25,000. It doesn't take an economics degree to understand that that's good math for Iran and the Houthis, bad math for the United States in terms of costs. But we extend this out. How worried is the Pentagon about supply of these missiles vis-a-vis having to fight another war, say in China, against China or somewhere else, that the Houthis, at the behest of Iran and behest of the Chinese, are draining our supply?
Absolutely. We are incurring costs. We have to think about what's happening in the Red Sea. We also have to think about what's happening in Ukraine to make sure that we are continuing to flow aid to the Ukrainians in their fight against Russia. And as you mentioned, we always have our eye on our pacing challenge, which is China in the Indo-Pacific. But we can't do this with one arm tied behind our backs. So we are absolutely incurring costs, which is why we need Congress to approve our budget, and we need Congress to approve this supplemental package.
All right, get you to the issue of Ukraine, and I think they do come together in this sense. Long-range Army tactical missile systems now being sent, maximum range 186 miles, 500-pound bombs, which is an escalation, if you will, or an advancement of the weaponry we are giving to Ukraine. Is there a common theme here? We're doing just enough to sort of hold the Houthis at bay, but not deliver a knockout blow to them. We're giving the Ukrainians, and have been for the past couple of years, just enough to hold Putin at bay, but not deliver a knockout blow.
2 years ago, everyone thought that Kyiv would fall. And then you saw the Ukrainians, the Battle of Kyiv, Kharkiv, Kherson. They were able to sustain and hold these cities, and they're continuing to push Russia in the east and the south. They're continuing to defend their sovereign territory. So they're really two separate fights, two separate terrains, and we have absolutely given and armed the Ukrainian military with what they need to be successful on the battlefield. But they're under no illusion, and neither are we. The Russians laid complex, complicated minefields that have stalled some progress. And what's also stalled progress for the Ukrainians is the fact that we haven't been able to give them another presidential drawdown authority package since December 27th. And that's why It's so important that Congress give us the authorities that we need so we can continue to not only support our efforts in the Central Command area of responsibility, but also support Ukraine.
All right, Sabrina, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we invite you to subscribe to War Notes. A lot more about exactly what we were talking about, the aid to Ukraine, in tomorrow's edition of War Notes. It gives you a free look at the show, 4 p.m. every day. Warnotes.com to subscribe, and you get in your inbox the most important stories of the day, our thoughts on them. You can reply. We read all the replies that you send in. Also, we'll see you on social media at Leland Vittert on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.